Hello and good morning, dear students of class 12th. Today we are going to take up another lesson from your English Chinar second series, and the lesson is titled The Sniper. I think it's the seventh chapter in your book, and it's written by Liam of Lehati. So today we are going to take up the lesson, and in the first part we are going to complete the first portion of the story. So before beginning with the story, I hope that all of you are having your books open at page number 55 in front of you. So let's begin the short story. Before beginning the story, first of all, I'll like to discuss a brief introduction about the author, which is being given to us at page number 55. The writer Liam of Lehati, he was born in 1896 and died in 1984. He was born at Inishmore, the largest of Aran Islands, in 1896. He wrote in English and Irish. That is, this writer used to write in two languages. That is English and the Irish language, and that is we call it a bilingual. He used to write in two languages. Born in rural poverty, he died in urban comfort. So Liam of Lehati, though he was born in a rural area, though he was born poor, his parents might be poor, I think, but when he died, by the time he died, he was a rich person. He migrated to an urban place, a city or a big metropolitan city, and he lived a comfortable urban life, enjoying all its comforts. So he was born in a poverty, like he was born in poverty in a rural area, but died in a city, enjoying all its comforts. Passionate in his love of nature, he abhorred everything brutish in man. So Liam of Lehati was very passionate about nature and natural objects, natural scenes, natural animals, natural entities. So he was very passionate about nature, but at the same time he abhorred everything brutish in man. At the same time he used to hate, he used to dislike the whatever like inhuman, whatever beast like quality humans have, like violence, like violence and other brutal instincts that humans are born with. He used to hate it very much. An exquisite writer of short stories about man and beast on islands, western seaboard. So, Liam of Lehati was a very fine writer of short stories. He used to write short stories, and those short stories were very good. And his short stories basically focused on man and beasts, yani ki wild animals of the islands western seaboards, which used to be present on the islands western seaboards. He used to write about those animals stories and beast stories about that particular place. So this was all about the writer Liam of Lehati. After knowing a brief detail, after covering this brief section about the writer, let's begin the story and let's move to page number 50. So on page number 50 we have this title, The Sniper, written by Liam of Lehati. I suppose that most of you are well aware of the of this word sniper. A sniper. Who is a sniper? Who is a sniper? If someone asks us, then we know that a sniper is a person, is a soldier who is who is using sophisticated guns, sophisticated weapons, and who is hiding somewhere in a war zone, in a battlefield, and he is killing people. He is firing bullets at people from a hidden place, so that the enemy, so that the one who is who he is targeting, that person will never know from which side, from which part, or from which area blood is being fired. So a sniper is a soldier who fires from a hidden spot, fires from a hidden place, and uses very sophisticated guns. So in the pre-reading section we are given a task, and let's see what is the task about. What are some of the words that occur to your mind when you think of war and fighting between countries? Discuss the words with your partner and write as many as you can think of. So here we are given the task to think about war and fighting. If two countries are fighting together, if a war is being taken place, some part of the world. So what are the words, what are the things you can think about such a situation? Or like, if we ponder about it, if we think about it for some time, then the most the most common word which will be coming to our mind will be, the first one will be violence, brutality, murder, disturbance, those kind of things, scarcity of food items, scarcity of other facilities, fear, and those kind of things are very common with war and fightings. So what you have to do here is, you have to discuss it with your partner, with your friend, and write as many as you can think of. So whatever you can think of about war, you have to discuss it with your friend and write it down in this given lines of the story. So after that, let's begin the story. Let's read the story, and let's try to unravel what entertaining aspect the story has to present to us, or what lesson we can get from the story. The following story is set in the center of Dublin during the Civil War that took place between 1919 and 1922. So this story, it is set in the center of Dublin. Dublin is the capital of Ireland. So this story is set in the center of Dublin. And what is happening in Dublin during the plot of the story is that the Civil War took place. There a civil war is taking place. Dublin is currently having a civil war, and this story is set in that during that civil war. And this civil war took place between 1919 and 1922. The Republicans and Free Staters were then fighting over the division of Ireland into Northern Ireland and the rest of the country. So there were two groups of civilians, two group of people. One is called the Republicans, another one is called the Free Staters, and both of them are fighting. They are fighting over the idea of division of Ireland into two parts. One part will be the Northern Ireland, which will be comprising the northern region, northern section of the country, and the second one will be the rest of the country. The remaining part of the country will be made as different countries. So it is basically a civil war between the Republicans and the Free Staters, who are fighting for the division of the country, that is Ireland, into two different nations. The sniper, a Republican, is fighting to see the two sides of the country united. Now read the story. So the sniper about whom we are going to read the story, he is basically by affiliation he is a Republican, and he is fighting with the sole purpose, sole aim, that he wants to see both sides of the country united. He wants to see both Republicans as well as the Free Staters united, and he wants to see the united Ireland, which he was habitual of before. So after that, after giving a brief intro about the story itself, we are about to read the story. So let's begin the story, and let's try to find out what it has to our what lessons it has to offer to us. The long June twilight faded into night. So the first sentence of the short story tells us about the duration of the day, about the timing of the story. The long June twilight faded into night. So it was the story is taking place in the month of June, and the twilight, which is a moment of the day after sunset and before night. So that twilight of the month of June, it quickly faded into night. That means very soon night set. It was complete dark night in the in Dublin, or in the region comprising of Dublin. Dublin lay enveloped in darkness, but for the dim light of the moon that shone through fleecy clouds, casting a pale light as of approaching dawn over the streets and the dark waters of the Liffey. So what happened that soon it was dark, and Dublin is completely engrossed, completely enveloped in darkness. It is complete dark in Dublin except the dim light. What is the source of that dim light? The source of that dim light is the moon that is shining through fleecy clouds. We are given a definition, we are giving the meaning of this word fleecy. Fleecy means soft and woolly looking. A cloud which is looking very soft and which is woolly, more like wool which we get from sheep. So the moonlight which is shining through gaps in the fleecy clouds, it is making it is casting a dim light over Dublin, which is enveloped in the darkness of the night, casting a pale light as of approaching dawn over the streets and the dark waters of the Liffey. So this moonlight is casting a pale light, okay, and this pale light is looking is like we are finding this pale light like the approaching dawn, and this light is casting, it is being cast over the streets of Dublin as well as the dark waters of Liffey. Liffey is the river over whose banks the city Dublin has been built, has been established, or has been settled. So over the dark waters of Liffey as well as the streets, this dim light from the moon is being casted, okay. Around the beleaguered four courts where fighting was constant, the heavy guns rode, okay. So there is this building which is called four courts. So it is beleaguered means surrounded by an army. As we already know that fighting is taking place in Dublin. So this four court has been surrounded by army, and around this fighting is constantly taking place. The heavy guns rode, and the heavy guns and the machine guns, tanks, and other big military artillery weapons, they are being fired. Noise and bloods are being fired, and when fighting is taking place around that four cordon in the city of Dublin. Here and there through the city, machine guns and rifle broke the silence of the night. So because of this violence, because of this fighting, like at different places of the city, machine guns and rifles are being fired, and which is disturbing the silence of the night. Actually, in comparison to the day, the nights are known for its silence. But unlike a usual night, this night is being disturbed because of the firing, because of the noises made by these guns, like rifles. Machine guns and rifles broke the silence of the night spasmodically, like dogs barking on lawn farms. So these rifles and machine guns, they are breaking the silence of the night spasmodically. That is like like if we translate this word in like Hindi or Urdu, it means रुक रुक. They are like more like barking dogs on farms, जो भौंकते हैं फिर थोड़ा रुकते हैं फिर भौंकते हैं, उस तरह spasmodically रुक रुक के ये firing of the guns, ये blood शोर शराबा, ये सारा कुछ उसके नाइट के साइलेंस को खराब कर रहा था. Republicans and Free Staters were waging a civil war. So these two civil groups, these two group of people, they were waging their war. They were waging their war, and they were fighting for Ireland and the division of Ireland. So that's why these four courts had fighting going on around it, and bloods were being fired because Republicans and Free Staters were waging a civil war. On a rooftop near O'Connell Bridge, a Republican sniper lay watching. So a sniper is sitting and a sniper is lying down where on the rooftop of a building which is near the O'Connell Bridge. There's a bridge called O'Connell Bridge, and on its rooftop a sniper who is a Republican, he's laying there. And what is he taking with him? Beside him lay his rifle, because on his side he had his rifle. Over his shoulders was slung a pair of field glasses, and over his shoulders he had his field glasses. Field glasses are that huge glasses which are worn by the soldiers when they go for a battle or when they go for a fight. So he had his field glasses as well as his rifle like near him. His face was the face of a student, thin and ascetic, but his eyes had the cold gleam of the fanatic. Though his face was the face of a student, thin and ascetic, he had a thin face, and he was looking like in appearance he was looking like a student, and he his eyes, but in like contrastingly to that, but his eyes had the cold gleam of the fanatic. But his eyes, they were more like they were senseless, they were emotionless, like a fanatic. A fanatic is someone who has committed himself, who has committed himself strongly to a belief or a cause. For example, if someone is a suicide bomber, then he is a fanatic, then he has decided to do whatever he can for a single cause, that is to kill innocent people. So here this student, this sniper, he has a face of a student, but he is like his eyes are senseless, emotionless, like that of a fanatic. They were deep and thoughtful, the eyes of a man who is used to looking at death, and his eyes were like the eyes of a person who is very thoughtful, who is very like serious, but he's serious, and at the same time his eyes were like a person who is habitual of looking at the death, who is habitual of looking at corpses, who has seen so much murder, so much violence in his life. So his eyes were like those. He was eating a sandwich hungrily. So this soldier, this sniper, was sitting on the rooftop near the O'Connell Bridge, and he was eating his sandwich hungrily. He was very hungry. I think that's why he was very hungrily having his sandwich. He had eaten nothing since morning. Because why he was hurriedly eating his sandwich? Because he had eaten nothing like from the morning. Because it's war, one is not sure, one cannot live a scheduled like routine life. It's completely war, completely throws life out of routine, out of system. So he had not eaten anything since morning. He had been too excited to eat, and because of the war, because of the fear, because of the excitement, he had not been able to eat also. He finished the sandwich, and taking a flask from his pocket, he took a short draught. So he finished his sandwich, he ate his sandwich hurriedly, and after that he took a flask, like thermos, from his pocket, and he drank something from it. Whether it was water, whether it was tea, we are not given any details here. He took some short draught. Then he returned the flask to his pocket. After that, he returned the flask to where it belongs, from where he brought it out. He paused for a moment, considering whether he should risk a smoke. After that, he thought for a moment. He considered like smoking. He thought that should I smoke or should I not? Then he was thinking for a while. Because why he was so confused, why he was in a dilemma regarding smoking? Because it was dangerous, it was war, it was such a fearful atmosphere. So he was a little confused about the idea. The flash might be seen in the darkness, and there were enemies watching. So it was dangerous because his flash, if he lit the match, it could be seen from a distance first, and there would be other snipers, there would be enemies, there would be other soldiers who could be watching, who would be very keeping a vigil, very keeping a tight this watch for some such kind of activities. So therefore he thought that smoking is dangerous. He decided to take the risk. Nevertheless, he was a smoker. I think he was a habitual smoker. He was addicted to it. Nevertheless, he thought that I should take a risk and smoke because I feel like so. Placing a cigarette between his lips, he struck a match. So what he did, he placed a cigarette between his lips and struck a match, and that is, he lit it. Inhaled the smoke hurriedly and put out the light. And he inhaled the smoke hurriedly because you must have seen smokers what they usually do is they put the cigarette in their mouth, they light the match, and they then they inhale inhale the smoke so that it burns, then they put out the light. So he did the same thing in the same manner, same fashion. He put the cigarette in his mouth, lit the match, and put the fire down. Okay, then put out the fire. Then almost immediately a bullet flattened itself against the parapet of the roof. So at the very onset, when he put out the light, a blood came from nowhere and it flattened itself against the parapet of the roof. A parapet is a low leveling wall we make around the roof. So that bullet hit the parapet. It missed its target, which was the sniper. The sniper took another whiff and put out the cigarette. After that, he had a second whiff. Whiff means like हम बोलेंगे फूंक या कश लगाया एक सिगरेट का. Then he put out the cigarette. It was dangerous because it was dangerous. Then he swore softly and crawled away to the left. After putting out the cigarette, he used some, bad language. Swore means the past form of severe. He must have uttered some sort of, gali guloj. And after that, he crawled to the left just to be sure that if the enemy fires another blood, it doesn't strike me. So he crawled to the left. Cautiously, he raised himself and peered over the parapet. After that, after moving a little to the left, he cautiously raised himself and looked over the parapet. There was a flash and a blood whisked over his head. So as soon as he did that, another blood was fired from the enemy, and it just passed away from, it passed a little ahead from his head. If it was a little lower, then it might have struck him in the forehead itself. But it just passed a little ahead from his head. He dropped immediately. As soon as it happened, he just lowered himself quickly. He had seen the flesh. Because he had seen the flesh, now he know from where the blood is being fired or where the enemy or the sniper is. He had found out the location, so he lowered himself. It came from the opposite side of the street, and he realized that this blood is being fired from the opposite side of the street. He rolled over the roof to a chimney stack in the rear and slowly drew himself up behind it. So what he did next was he rolled himself over the roof and moved towards the chimney stack. Chimney stack is we usually call it नलका. जो ये जहाँ नलका निकलता है वो थोड़ा बड़ा होगा, तो उसके साइड में वो जाके वहां पे बैठ गया. He rolled over the roof to the chimney stack in the rear. Rear means in the back side of the building, and slowly drew himself up behind it, because now he realized that the enemy must have understood my location. So he moved a little further at the roof, and he moved to the rear where the chimney was, and what he did was slowly drew himself up behind it. So while standing or while supporting himself with the chimney stack, he raised himself up until his eyes were level with the top of the parapet. He did so unless he could see. His eyes were level with the parapet, and he could see things from the parapet, but he was not completely raised like he was standing. He was just making his eyes at the level of the parapet. There was nothing to be seen, just the dim outline of the opposite housetop against the blue sky. His enemy was under cover. So when he tried to look from the parapet after leveling his eyes from the up to the parapet, so there was nothing to be seen. He could not see anything. There was nothing to be seen because it was complete dark. Only a sparse little faint light of the moon was there. Otherwise, it was complete dark, as we know from the basic description of the story. So nothing could be seen, just the dim outline of the opposite housetop against the dark blue sky. So there was nothing could be seen, and he could only see the rough outline of the opposite rooftop. His enemy was under cover, and he realized that the sniper, the other person who is firing at him, that person is undercover. That person is like being saved, being enveloped, being protected by the darkness of the night. So this was all for today. We will try to continue, and we will try to cover the remaining portion of the story in the upcoming lessons. Thank you so much for watching.